Okay, if you're a Giants fan right now, you know this feeling. You absolutely feel it. We are deep inside a pressure cooker, and the heat inside the organization, it's just scorching.
Absolutely scorching, yeah.
And the stakes going into this weekend, I mean, they couldn't be higher.
No, they really couldn't.
We're looking right at this immediate crisis point. The Chicago Bears game. Look, it's simple math. If we drop this one, the team's 2-8.
2-8.
And it's not just worse, right? It goes from really tense to like catastrophic. It forces a change, an organizational shift that maybe nobody wants, but let's be honest, a lot of us are expecting it.
Yeah, the expectation is definitely there.
We are just so tired of losing. I mean, the patience. It's gone. Completely run out.
Understandably so.
So today we're doing a full-scale organizational look. We're trying to peel back that curtain, look at ownership, the politics inside the building, especially this alleged rift between the coach and the GM.
Right.
And figure out what the future paths actually look like.
And what's interesting, right, is we're not just looking at, like, headlines from the papers.
Yeah.
The stuff we've gathered, it gives you the receipts. It shows the internal stability or, the lack of it.
Yeah, the real story.
We're going beyond just the box score. We're looking at the performance trends over time and, crucially, the political reality. That's what decides who keeps their job and who faces the music.
Who's got the short runway.
Exactly. Who's got the short runway and who might still have the owner's trust. That's the key.
Okay, let's dive right into that immediate firestorm then, because the feeling after that Denver collapse, it was volcanic. You hear whispers, but our sources, they're confirming just how urgent things got. Ownership allegedly wanted Daboll fired off the plane.
Off the plane, just think about that.
Right, think about that intent. Not, okay, let's talk Monday morning. No, that sources say the immediate, raw reaction was get him out now, before they even left the airport tarmac.
Now, yeah, cooler heads prevailed, obviously. But that initial reaction, that volatile thought, it tells you everything about the patience level right now. There just isn't any.
And that volatility, it's completely driven by the performance trend. That rumor, that reaction, it just shows how incredibly short the leash is right now.
It's New York.
It's New York. It's famously unforgiving. And the sources really hit this point hard. In this market, the demand is, simple but also impossible. Be intense, but not too intense.
Right. Walk that line.
And above all else, smile, win, repeat. That's the job description.
Yeah, easy enough.
And when you look at that specific Denver loss, holding a big lead and then just collapsing, so embarrassing. That's not just a loss on the scoreboard.
No.
That's organizational failure broadcast nationally. And that specific game, according to what we're seeing, it just confirmed ownership's worst fears about discipline, about late game execution.
That explains the panic button.
That's why the panic button was almost slammed right there on the tarmac. It crystallized the problem for them. Okay, so here's where it gets super complex. And honestly, as a fan, it's frustrating. Because for 2 years, we kind of bought into this idea, right? Daboll and Schoen, they're a package deal.
Right, came in together.
They sink or swim together. But multiple reports now are confirming that's absolutely not the case anymore. That door, the one marked split decision, it is wide open for ownership.
Fascinating. So they could keep one, fire the other.
Exactly. Look, I'll just say it. I want a clean house. I am exhausted by losing year after year. This whole thing feels like the worst group project ever where nobody did their part.
I hear that frustration. A lot of fans feel that way.
I want both jobs graded F. Just fail them both and start over. But, okay, the sources do give a pretty big warning here we can't just ignore.
Which is?
A clean house only really works if you replace chaos with a clear plan.
And that's the crucial bit. That caution is so important because just making emotional decisions mid-season, that can cost you big time. Future draft picks, organizational direction.
Mess it all up worse.
You could destabilize things even more, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with contracts and picks already committed. The issue isn't wanting change. It's finding who can come in and execute that clear plan immediately. That's tough midstream.
Right.
So the reason this split ticket idea is plausible, it comes down to ownership now grading two very different jobs. They're using two different scorecards.
Okay, break that down.
So for the GM, Joe Schoen, the grade is mostly about ROI, right?
Mm-hmm.
Return on investment for who he brings in, draft picks, trades, the future salary cap situation. That stuff takes longer to really judge fairly.
Right, long-term view.
Exactly. But for the coach, Brian Daboll, the grade is instant. It's game day performance, how they execute, clock management, adjustments, and maybe most importantly now, player development.
Okay, that makes sense. So that distinction, that leads right into the two main paths ownership might take. We should probably walk through those options.
Let's do it.
Option 1 seems to be the one getting the most buzz. Keep Schoen, get a new coach. So you keep the scouting philosophy, the roster structure ideas, the cap management stays consistent. But you bring in a fresh voice for Sundays for the game day execution mess we keep seeing.
So that path implies ownership trusts Schoen's long-term plan more than Daboll's current ability to get the most out of the players.
Seems like it, yeah. And then option 2, keep Daboll, find a new GM.
Interesting. The reverse.
Yeah. This one doubles down on the one thing that is looking good, the thing that gives us hope, the quarterback development.
Jaxson Dart.
Jaxson Dart. But it says, okay, we need a new architect for the roster around him. It's like ownership looks at Daboll and says, okay, you're developing the TP, great, but the talent around him just isn't cutting it.
And the fact they can separate those two roles now, it just shows how closely they're looking at the ROI for every single move made these past couple of years, every draft pick, every free agent.
Okay, let's pivot then, because you mentioned it. The one thing, the only thing maybe, that could save Daboll right now.
Right.
And honestly, the thing that makes me genuinely happy as a fan, it's the QB development, and it's Jaxson Dart.
He's definitely a bright spot.
The fact that he's out there starting, showing real flashes, that's the life raft. I am so incredibly excited this kid is getting a shot. The entire case for keeping Daboll hinges on this idea. Draft him, tutor him, unlock his potential.
That's the narrative for sure.
And if Dart's performance keeps trending up, even just steadily, his coach's case gets way stronger. We've seen those flashes, haven't we? Real playmaking ability. And not just Dart. Seeing guys like Cam Scatabo actually develop, that's evidence. That's coaching working.
You're right. That development is the coach's strongest argument.
Okay.
No question.
Mm-hmm.
But it gets contrasted pretty sharply by the counterpoint.
Which is?
The signals coming from the front office about the rest of the roster. The sources describe Schoen's overall activity as eclectic.
Eclectic? What does that even mean?
It means a bit all over the place,
Fine.
you know? Aggressive talk about trading veterans one minute, smoke signals about maneuvering in the draft the next, constantly shifting priorities. It just signals a lack of maybe a clear, consistent vision.
Okay, I see.
It looks less like carefully building a foundation and more like constantly looking at different blueprints, maybe. That kind of erratic approach puts the GM under the microscope too, even if he avoids getting fired immediately.
That brings us right back to the cold reality check, doesn't it? The roster receipts. That initial pitch we all bought into. High-impact rookies plus a big-time edge rusher, remember? The whole rising tide lifts all boats idea.
Yep, I remember the optimism.
But the results? Underwhelming is putting it mildly. We've gotten mixed returns.
That seems fair.
We see a few bright spots, absolutely. Like we said, the excitement around Dart is real. Some defensive guys look like they're progressing, but man, there are too many flickering bulbs, especially that offensive line. After all the investment, still awful.
And that's where the criticism of the organizational development process really lands hard. A key detail mentioned over and over in the analysis.
What's that?
When you see former Giants players go elsewhere and suddenly play much better, level up immediately, that suggests the problem isn't just identifying talent, which is the GM's job.
It's optimizing it, coaching.
It's optimizing that talent, which falls more on the coaching staff. It's a huge indictment.
Yeah, that's rough.
And the analogy the research uses is kind of perfect. We don't need a rebuild. We need a screw the shelves tighter. The bookcase is wobbling.
Huh. Okay, I get that visual. The bookcase is wobbling.
Think about what that means, right? The pieces might technically be there on the shelf, but the fundamental organization, the leadership holding it all together,
Yeah.
both getting the pieces and making them work, it's failing.
So the wobble. Both guys are responsible.
Both guys are responsible for that wobble,
Yeah.
acquisition and development.
So, okay. If the wobble continues, what actually happens? We've got these three distinct paths laid out, basically depending on how they play these next few weeks. And that Bears game is like hurdle number one for all of them.
It looms incredibly large, yes.
Path A. This is the danger zone. The result slide keeps going. We lose to the Bears, we hit 2-8.
Yeah, the nightmare scenario.
At that point, we're past asking if they make a move. The question becomes when. That split ticket idea becomes highly likely. Ownership tries to salvage whoever they think has more long-term value. And based on the sourcing, Daboll seems the most exposed in that scenario.
That aligns with the off-the-plane reaction,
Yeah.
Performance-driven.
Path B offers maybe a glimmer of hope, especially for Daboll. The offense finds some rhythm, it stabilizes, and Jaxson Dart really starts to consistently pop, really looks like the guy.
Okay, QB ascended.
Right. Then the coach gains massive value. He's the guy who developed the franchise QB. In that case, the heat shifts maybe almost entirely onto Schoen, onto the GM.
Why does it shift specifically to the GM then?
Because if Dart is playing great, but the team is still losing, maybe the O-line is still a SIG or the defense can't get a stop, then the failure isn't the QB, it's the talent around the QB.
The supporting cast, Schoen's acquisitions.
Exactly. Ownership starts asking, why didn't we build better around our star quarterback? The focus shifts to roster construction ROI.
Makes sense. And Path C.
Path C. This is the dream scenario for just keeping things stable. A late rally, they string some wins together, and D, we see a real visible surge in player development across the board, not just Dart.
So tangible progress everywhere.
Yeah. In that case, both guys survive. They probably get some firm marching orders for the offseason, maybe some staff changes under them. But crucially, the fans finally get a vision, something we can actually buy into. The vibe changes from chaos to, actual direction.
Okay, so if we tie this all together,
Yeah.
the big picture,
Yeah.
the ultimate deciding factor seems to be that sustained performance trend versus just, organizational habit or inertia.
Right.
The runway is short. We know that. The split decision is plausible. We know that too. Ownership is going to make this call using receipts, not just hope.
No more hoping.
They need hard evidence. Undeniable growth from Dart. Clear proof the team can stop collapsing late in games. A development track record that shows this wobbling bookcase can actually, hold some weight.
They need proof it works.
Exactly. They won't be swayed just by headlines or one good game. They need proof of viability.
Man, this turmoil is real. And the need for immediate, visible progress. You just can't overstate it. We need wins. We need to keep seeing that development evidence. That Chicago game, it feels like everything, right?
It really does feel pivotal.
So I want you, listening right now, ask yourself this. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your confidence level? Your real confidence level that Jaxson Dart's development keeps going up, that he continues this arc.
That's a great question.
Because that number, that single number in your head, it pretty much dictates the future of the coaching staff. The whole foundation feels like it rests on his shoulders right now.
And that actually raises one more important point, and something the sources emphasize that we haven't quite touched on. It's the risk. The inherent risk in blowing things up without that clear plan.
Oh.
If ownership makes a move, maybe fires both guys, they're paying out guaranteed money, first off. But more importantly, they reset the competitive clock. The material points out that teams firing both coach and GM without a rock-solid replacement plan ready to go.
Yeah.
They often just slide into this decade-long cycle of dysfunction, hiring whoever is available, not who is right. The real cost of failure isn't just losing this season. It's the money and potentially sacrificing the next 3, 4, 5 years if they handle this transition poorly now. That's the bigger gamble.
Just wanted to say a massive thank you for tuning in to Big Blue Tea.
Absolutely. And, a huge shout out always to Black Freezy TV.
Oh,
For
definitely.
the fantastic programming, the production, everything that makes this possible.
Yep. Their work behind the scenes is just really appreciated.
It really is.
This has been Big Blue Tea.